The sky over Earth had never looked so ominous. It was mid-afternoon when the massive shadow of the Arcturian fleet blotted out the sun, turning day into an eerie twilight. Across the globe, people stopped in their tracks, eyes skyward, as colossal ships descended, their sleek, alien design unlike anything humanity had ever constructed. In New York City, the heart of human resistance, Captain Alex Mercer stood atop the ruins of an old skyscraper, his gaze fixed on the descending behemoths. The Arcturians, with their advanced technology and rigid societal structure, had judged humanity from afar. Their broadcasts had been clear. "You are primitive. We come to civilize and liberate you from your barbaric ways." But their words were not of salvation. They were threats draped in false benevolence. Alex, a man whose life had been a tapestry of conflicts from Earth's own wars, now faced an adversary from the stars. His tactical mind, honed over years in human military campaigns, was already calculating the odds. The Arcturians, with their superior technology, were a formidable enemy, but they had made one critical miscalculation. They believed humanity would submit without a fight. The first Arcturian ships landed in Central Park, their landing causing the ground to tremble. Soldiers, or rather what appeared to be automated drones with a chilling efficiency, marched out, scanning, cataloging. Their movements were precise, almost mechanical, but there was an arrogance in their advance, as if they expected no resistance. Alex knew the hard decision before him was not just about fighting. It was about how to fight. The human forces were outgunned, but not outthought. He signaled his team, a motley crew of soldiers, scientists, and survivors, each with their own tale of loss and defiance. As dusk fell, the first shots were fired not by humans, but by an Arcturian drone that spotted a human patrol. The skirmish was brief, but it was a wake-up call. The Arcturians expected a swift victory, but Alex had prepared for this moment. His plan was not to meet the enemy in open combat, but to make them pay for every inch of Earth they claimed. With the city under siege, Alex led his team through the subway tunnels, repurposed into a network of resistance. Here, among the echo of dripping water and the distant rumble of alien machinery, they planned their first strike, not an attack, but an ambush. The Arcturians would learn that Earth was not a planet to be conquered in a day. The decision to strike first was fraught with risk. If the Arcturians retaliated with full force, the resistance could be wiped out before it even began. Yet doing nothing was not an option. Alex, looking at the faces around him, determination mixed with fear, knew the weight of his choice. They would hit the Arcturians where they least expected, in their perceived safety behind lines of advanced technology. The night was filled with whispers of strategy, the clatter of weapons being readied, and the silent agreement that this was their stand. Humanity would not be subjugated by those who called them savages. They would give them hell, starting from the shadows of their own world. As the chapter closes, the reader senses the impending clash, the tension of a battle not just for survival, but for the soul of what it means to be human. Alex's hard choices forged the path of resistance, setting the stage for a war that would define humanity's place among the stars. The dawn broke over a New York that was no longer recognizable. The once vibrant city now bore the scars of an alien invasion. Buildings charred, streets cracked, and the air thick with the dust of destruction. Captain Alex Mercer, his face smeared with grime from the night's preparations, watched as the first light reflected off the Arcturian ships. His team had spent the night setting up traps and ambushes. The plan was simple but hazardous: lure the Arcturians into the urban maze where their technology would be less of an advantage. "Everyone ready?" Alex's voice was calm, but his eyes betrayed the storm of strategy within. "Ready as we'll ever be, Cap," replied Lena, the hacker whose fingers danced over her makeshift console, ready to disrupt Arcturian communications. Mikhail, the former cosmonaut, checked his gear, his expression grim. "Let's give them a taste of Earth's hospitality." The first Arcturian patrol entered Times Square, their lights sweeping across the desolation, seeking signs of life. They found none, or so they thought. Alex gave the signal, and the ground beneath the patrol erupted. Hidden explosives, wired to old subway lines, detonated, sending shrapnel and debris flying. An Arcturian drone, caught in the blast, sparked and collapsed, its mechanical life snuffed out in an instant. The others recoiled, scanning for threats, but the humans were ghosts in their own city. "Move! Move! Move!" Alex hissed over the comms. The team shifted positions, using the chaos to their advantage. Lena's voice crackled through the earpiece. "Their comms are scrambled, but they'll recover fast. We've got minutes, tops." "We don't need more," Alex responded, his eyes on the next target, an Arcturian command unit just crossing into Central Park. The Arcturians, now alert, began an organized counterattack. Their weapons, unlike anything human technology had seen, fired beams of energy that cut through concrete like butter. But human ingenuity had its own weapons, improvised explosives, traps, and the knowledge of every alley and shadow. In the heart of the park, Mikhail led a small squad to flank the command unit. "Remember, we hit and run," he reminded them. "We're not here to die for the cause, but to make them bleed for it." The clash was brutal, the air filled with the hum of alien technology and the roar of human defiance. An Arcturian soldier, towering and clad in armor that seemed to adapt to every attack, advanced on Mikhail's position. "You will submit," it intoned, its voice synthetic yet imposing. Mikhail, with a grim smile, replied, "We don't submit. We resist." The battle was a dance of light and shadow, human resilience against alien force. But the turning point came when Lena managed to hack into an Arcturian drone, turning it against its own. The betrayal from within their ranks sowed confusion, and for a moment, the tide turned. "Pull back!" Alex commanded as the Arcturians began to regroup. The resistance had achieved what it set out to, a demonstration of human capability and a warning. As they retreated, Alex's mind raced with the implications. They had won this skirmish, but at what cost? The city was still theirs, but how many more could they afford to lose? The Arcturians would return with greater force, and his team would need more than just courage. They'd need a strategy for survival. The chapter ends with the team making their way back to their underground base, the adrenaline of victory mixed with the sobering reality of what lay ahead. Alex, looking at his weary but resolute team, knew the war had just begun, and every battle would require not just bravery, but cunning and sacrifice. The intrigue of the Arcturian response, the development of new alliances, and the hard choices ahead set the hook deeper into the narrative of human resilience against the cosmos. The air in the makeshift command center beneath the ruins of Times Square was thick with tension. The dim light from flickering bulbs cast long shadows, mirroring the uncertainty that had settled over the human resistance. Alex Mercer, his face set in a hard line, studied the holographic maps spread before him, plotting the next move against the Arcturians. "Reports from the scouts?" Alex asked, his voice echoing slightly in the concrete chamber. Lena, her eyes tired but sharp, responded, "Minimal Arcturian activity tonight, but it's too quiet. They're planning something." Just then, the silence was broken by an unexpected transmission. The screen flickered, and an Arcturian face appeared, not one of the usual soldiers, but someone with the insignia of a high-ranking official.
"I am Commander Valor," the alien began, his voice smooth and calculating. "I come with an offer of peace, or, more specifically, survival." Mikhail scoffed. "Since when do invaders talk peace?" Valor continued, unfazed. "There is a faction among us who sees the futility of this war. We seek an alliance. We provide you with intelligence. You provide us with sanctuary."
The offer was tempting. Intelligence on Arcturian movements could turn the tide. Alex weighed the proposal, his gaze shifting to his team.
"What do you think?"
Lena, always cautious, warned,
"It could be a trap. They might use this to infiltrate us, gather intelligence." Mikhail, however, saw potential. "Or it could be our chance to end this quickly. We need any edge we can get." The decision was made. They would meet with Valor, but under strict conditions. The rendezvous was set in the ruins of the old library, a place symbolic of human knowledge and resistance. Valor arrived with only 2 guards, their weapons holstered, a sign of peace, or so it seemed. "We've risked much to come here," Valor said, his eyes scanning the room. "But we believe in the potential for coexistence." Lena, with her fingers on her console, had prepared for this meeting. She whispered to Alex, "I've got eyes and ears on him. If he tries anything, we'll know." Valor handed over a data crystal, explaining it contained the schematics of Arcturian ships and their weaknesses. Alex took it, his eyes meeting Valor's, searching for deceit. "Thank you, Commander. If this is genuine, we might just survive this war together." As Valor and his guards left, a sense of cautious optimism filled the room. But the mood shifted when Lena's alert beeped. "Alex, something's wrong. There's an Arcturian signal broadcasting our location." The betrayal was swift. The roof of the library exploded as Arcturian forces descended from above, not in peace, but in overwhelming force. "Ambush!" Mikhail shouted, already moving to defend their position. Alex's heart sank. They had been played. "Retreat! We need to get out now!" The command center erupted into chaos as resistance fighters scrambled to defend while others sought escape routes. Bullets and energy beams crisscrossed, the air thick with the smell of burnt metal and concrete. Lena, with quick thinking, jammed the Arcturian communications, buying them precious moments. "I've got a way out, through the old subway tunnels. Follow me!" They fought their way through, with Alex covering the rear, ensuring no one was left behind. The betrayal not only cost them the element of surprise, but also many lives. As they made their escape into the darkness of the subway, the gravity of the situation weighed on Alex. Valor's faction was a lie, or at least not all of them wanted peace, he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. Mikhail, nursing a minor wound, added, "But we learned something crucial. They're desperate, which means we're doing something right." The chapter closes with the realization that trust was now a luxury they couldn't afford. The Arcturians had shown their hand, and in doing so, perhaps revealed a vulnerability. The human resistance, now more wary, would need to adapt, to become even more cunning in this war of shadows and light. This twist not only deepened the narrative, but also set up the next phase of their fight for survival, with every step forward now shadowed by the specter of betrayal.
The Siberian wilderness was as unforgiving as the war they were waging. In the shadow of the Ural Mountains, Alex Mercer and his dwindling band of fighters found refuge in an abandoned missile silo, now their makeshift headquarters. The cold bit through their makeshift shelters, a constant reminder of the harsh reality they faced. "We lost too many good people," Alex said, his breath visible in the frigid air. He looked around at his team, their faces etched with fatigue and determination. Lena, hunched over a pile of scavenged tech, didn't look up as she spoke. "We need to regroup, reassess. That betrayal cost us, but it also showed us their desperation." Mikhail, wrapping a bandage around his arm, added, "We need to hit them where it hurts, not just their soldiers, but their supply lines, their morale." The silo was a maze of tunnels and chambers, perfect for hiding from Arcturian aerial reconnaissance. Here, they began to plan their next move, but the betrayal had left a mark. Trust was a commodity scarcer than ammunition. A new face joined their circle, a man named Yuri, who had been part of a resistance cell in Vladivostok.
"I've brought something," he said, revealing a small device. "A jammer. One of our engineers built it. It can blind their drones for a short while." Alex eyed the device. "This could give us the edge we need. We'll use it for our next strike."
The plan was to strike at an Arcturian supply convoy making its way through the taiga. It was risky. The area was vast, and the Arcturians had air superiority, but it was also an opportunity.
"We'll use the weather to our advantage," Alex decided. "The snowstorm tonight will hide our movements.
We'll hit them from multiple directions, make them think we're more numerous than we are." Lena worked tirelessly to integrate Yuri's jammer into their strategy, setting up a network of sensors and decoys to disorient the enemy. As night fell and the storm raged on, the team moved out, their figures blurred by the snow. The Arcturian convoy was a line of hovercrafts, their lights piercing the whiteout, unaware of the danger lurking in the blizzard. "Jammer active," Lena whispered into the comms as the convoy's lights flickered and died. Mikhail led one group, planting explosives on the rear of the convoy. "Remember, we're not just taking supplies, we're sending a message." The explosion was muffled by the storm, but its effect was clear as chaos ensued among the Arcturians. Alex, with another team, focused on capturing one of their supply vehicles intact. "We need their tech, their weapons. Every piece we get could be the difference between survival and extinction." The fight was fierce, the storm adding to the confusion. An Arcturian soldier, his armor slick with snow, charged at Alex. The two clashed, Alex using his knowledge of hand-to-hand combat learned from Earth's wars, while the alien relied on brute force and technology. Alex managed to disable the soldier's weapon, turning the tide. "Retreat! We've got what we came for!" Alex commanded as they dragged the captured vehicle back into the white void. Back at the silo, the victory was bittersweet. They had supplies, weapons, and a modicum of hope, but the cost in lives was heavy. Lena, analyzing the Arcturian tech, found something intriguing, a communication frequency not used before. This could be our way to listen in on their plans, maybe even mislead them. The chapter ends with a sense of cautious optimism. They had survived another day, become a little stronger, but the war was far from over. The intrigue of new technology and the potential for espionage added layers to their struggle, setting up for deeper strategic engagements and the constant dance of trust and betrayal in this war-torn world. The Martian sky was a canvas of red and dust as Alex Mercer looked out from the makeshift command center established in the shadow of Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system. Here, on Mars, the Arcturians had built what they considered an impregnable fortress. But Alex's team, now equipped with salvaged alien tech, had other plans. "We can't take them head-on," Alex said, his eyes scanning the holographic map of the Martian terrain. "We use what we've got."
Surprise them.
Lena, her fingers flying over her console, added, "Their communications are encrypted, but that frequency we found? I've been able to tap into it. They're expecting reinforcements soon." Mikhail, now in charge of their small, eclectic fleet of captured Arcturian ships, chimed in. "We strike before those reinforcements arrive. We've got one shot at this." The plan was audacious. Infiltrate the base under the guise of their own reinforcements, using the stolen Arcturian codes and ships. Once inside, they would unleash chaos from within. As they approached in the stolen ships, the tension was palpable. Yuri, now part of the core team, manned the weapons of their lead vessel. "Remember, we're the wolves in sheep's clothing," he reminded them over the comms. The Arcturian base, a marvel of alien architecture, loomed ahead. The codes worked, the gates opened, and they were inside, landing among genuine Arcturian ships. "Keep the act until we're in position," Alex commanded, his voice a whisper of steel. They moved quickly, blending with the actual Arcturian forces. Lena hacked into the base's security systems, looping feeds to cover their movements. Mikhail and a small team set charges in strategic locations, while Alex and Yuri made for the control center. The control room was a hive of activity, Arcturians unaware of the wolves among them. Alex and Yuri took down 2 guards silently, their training from Earth's wars proving invaluable. "Disable their defenses," Alex whispered to Yuri, who was already working on the consoles. The screens flickered, then went dark as Yuri initiated a lockdown protocol, trapping Arcturian forces outside the control center. Lena's voice crackled through the comms. "I've got control of their internal comms, spreading confusion now." The charges set by Mikhail detonated, sending shockwaves through the base, the explosions a signal for the team to move. The Arcturians, now in disarray, scrambled to understand what was happening. "Time to go!" Alex shouted as he and Yuri began the exfiltration, using the chaos to their advantage. Outside, the battle was fierce. Arcturian reinforcements had arrived, but too late. The human ships, now visible, engaged in aerial combat, using the Martian terrain for cover. Mikhail's voice came through. "We've got what we need. Let's make this our exit." The retreat was a spectacle of human ingenuity and Arcturian technology. They left the base in flames, not just from the physical destruction, but from the psychological blow. The so-called superior race outsmarted by savages. As they made their escape into the Martian sky, Alex looked back at the smoldering fortress.
"They'll recover,"
he said, more to himself.
"But they'll remember this day."
The chapter closes with the team returning to their hidden base on Earth, bringing not just spoils of war, but vital intelligence. The victory at Olympus Mons was a testament to human resilience and a beacon of hope. However, the intrigue of what they learned from the Arcturian systems hints at layers of the conflict yet to be uncovered, setting the stage for further strategic maneuvers and the ever-present tension of who might betray them next. The Arcturian city of Utopia was a marvel of light and structure on their home planet, a place where their civilization's highest ideals were showcased. But for Alex Mercer and his team, it was the heart of the enemy that needed piercing. "We've got one chance at this," Alex briefed his team in the dim light of their shuttle, orbiting in stealth mode. We infiltrate, sabotage their war council, and get out before they know what hit them. Lena, her face illuminated by her screens, added, I've got us into their systems, but there's a double agent among us. Someone's been feeding them our moves. The revelation sent a chill through the group. Trust was already thin, but now paranoia would be their companion. We adapt, Mikhail said, his hand on his weapon. No one goes alone. Ever. Dressed in pilfered Arcturian uniforms, they descended into Utopia. The city was breathtaking, a contrast to the war-ravaged Earth. But beauty here was deceptive. They moved through the city, using back alleys and maintenance tunnels, guided by Lena's hacked maps. The War Council was in session, discussing their next move against Earth, unaware of the humans infiltrating their sanctum. Yuri, you're with me, Alex whispered as they approached the council chamber. Yuri, still new to the team, nodded silently, his loyalty now under scrutiny. The chamber was grand, filled with Arcturians in high command. Alex and Yuri took positions, ready to strike. But as they prepared to move, an Arcturian guard, alerted by an unseen signal, approached. Who are you? The guard demanded, his weapon aimed. Yuri acted fast, knocking the guard out silently. He was about to call for backup, Yuri explained, breathing heavily. But doubt had seeded. Was Yuri the double agent? There was no time to ponder. The mission was critical. Lena's voice came through the comms. We've got company. Someone tipped them off. Move now. The element of surprise lost. Alex and Yuri attacked. The council was in chaos. Energy weapons clashed as the humans fought their way through. Mikhail and Lena, outside coordinating the escape, faced their own battle. We're pinned down, Mikhail shouted, his voice strained. We need to get out of here now. Inside, Alex targeted the council's main console, planting a device to corrupt their data and sow confusion. This is for Earth, he muttered, pressing the detonator. Explosions rocked the chamber as the data corruption spread like wildfire through their systems. The council members, those not already dead, were scrambling, their plans in disarray. Retreat! Alex commanded as he and Yuri fought their way back to the rendezvous point. The escape was a blur of action. Running, fighting. The city's once serene beauty now a backdrop for their desperate flight. Arcturian ships pursued, but Mikhail, in a commandeered craft, provided cover, engaging in aerial combat. As they left Utopia's atmosphere, the city below was in upheaval, its lights flickering in distress. We did it, Lena said, relief in her voice, but it was tempered by the betrayal they'd uncovered. But who among us is the traitor? The chapter ends with the team returning to their base, the victory bittersweet. The sabotage had dealt a significant blow, but the revelation of a double agent within their ranks left them more vulnerable than ever. The action-packed escape from Utopia sets the stage for a deeper dive into the intrigue of betrayal and the relentless push towards freedom. The Amazon rainforest, once a cradle of Earth's biodiversity, had become the stage for humanity's last stand. The dense jungle, now a fortress of resistance, was where Alex Mercer and his team prepared for the Arcturians' final assault. The Arcturians, reeling from the blow at Utopia, had regrouped with a ferocity born of desperation. Their ships blotted out the sun, descending upon the jungle with a vengeance, their weapons cutting through the canopy. Alex, his face lined with the weariness of too many battles, knew this was it. The forest, with its natural defenses and the guerrilla tactics they'd honed, would be their last line of defense. His eyes met Mikhail's, a silent acknowledgement of what was at stake. The battle began with a silence broken only by the hum of alien technology. Arcturian drones, designed for urban warfare, struggled in the thick vegetation, but their numbers were overwhelming. Explosions tore through trees, sending up clouds of earth and fire. Lena, hidden in a makeshift command center, coordinated the defense, her fingers flying over her console, disrupting Arcturian communications. But the strain was visible. The double agent's betrayal had left them with compromised plans. Then, the moment of betrayal came. Yuri, the suspected infiltrator, turned his weapon on Alex during a moment of reprieve.
"I had no choice,"
he whispered, his voice a mix of regret and duty. The shot missed, but the trust was shattered. Mikhail, reacting instantly, tackled Yuri, a scuffle breaking out amidst the chaos. The fight was brief, ending with Yuri subdued, his fate to be decided later. With no time for words, Alex led a counterattack. Using the jungle's own plants rigged with explosives, they turned the environment into a weapon. Arcturian soldiers, expecting an easy victory, walked into traps that decimated their ranks. The air was thick with smoke, the ground littered with both human and alien dead. Alex, now wounded, pushed forward, knowing every step brought them closer to either victory or annihilation. The Arcturians, realizing the cost, launched their most devastating attack yet, a barrage meant to cleanse the area of life. But humanity had one more trick, one last desperate act of defiance. Lena had managed to hack into an Arcturian ship, turning its weapons against its fleet. The sky lit up with explosions as Arcturian ships collided, creating a spectacle of destruction visible even through the dense foliage. As the dust settled, the remnants of the Arcturian force retreated, their once invincible army reduced to chaos. But the victory was Pyrrhic. The human resistance had paid dearly. Alex, gravely injured, knew he wouldn't see the dawn of a free Earth. He looked at his comrades, their faces a mix of relief and sorrow. There was no celebration, only the quiet resolve to rebuild. The chapter closes on a somber note. Alex, with his last breaths, entrusts the future to Mikhail and Lena, his vision blurring as he sees not just the destruction around him, but the potential for peace. The intrigue of betrayal, the action of the final battle, and the ultimate sacrifice of the leader set the stage for a world where humans would need to rise from the ashes, with the specter of what was lost always in their minds. The aftermath of the Amazon battle painted a picture of devastation, but beneath the ruin, the seeds of rebirth were quietly taking root. With Alex Mercer gone, the mantle of leadership fell to Mikhail and Lena, who now faced the daunting task of not only defending, but rebuilding. In the ruins of what was once a command center, Mikhail addressed what remained of the resistance. "Alex gave us this chance. We owe it to him, to all who fell, to make it count." Lena, her eyes red from lack of sleep, added, "But we must be smarter. The Arcturians are wounded, but they're not out. We need to end this, once and for all." Their strategy was clear. Use the intelligence gathered from Yuri, the double agent now under guard, to strike at the heart of the Arcturian power structure. The information revealed a hidden facility on one of their moons, a place where they were developing a weapon that could end Earth in one strike. "We go there," Mikhail decided, "and we destroy it. If we can, we end this war." The journey was fraught with danger, but their stolen Arcturian tech provided the means. Yuri, in a bid to redeem himself, fed them vital codes to bypass the moon's defenses. "I never wanted to betray you," he confessed to Lena. They had my family, but I can make this right. The team, now a mix of seasoned fighters and new recruits, landed under the cover of darkness. The facility was a fortress, but their intimate knowledge of Arcturian tech and architecture gave them an edge. We split up, Mikhail instructed. Lena, you take the tech team to the control center. Yuri and I will handle the physical sabotage. As they moved, the silence was broken by Lena's whisper over the comms. I've got access. I'm going to try to turn their defenses against them. The facility was a maze of technology and armed guards. Mikhail and Yuri fought their way through, setting charges at critical points. The explosions would not just disable the weapon, but send a message.
Almost there. Lena's voice came, tense. I've found it, the weapon's control, but there's another layer of security. I need more time. Time was the one thing they didn't have. Arcturian reinforcements were on their way. Mikhail, looking at Yuri, made a decision. Go help her. I'll hold them off here. Yuri nodded, running back to assist Lena.
Mikhail prepared for his last stand, using the environment to his advantage, turning the facility into a death trap for the incoming Arcturians. Lena, with Yuri's help, broke through the security. Got it! She exclaimed, initiating the self-destruct sequence on the weapon. We've got minutes! Let's move! The escape was a race against time. Explosions rocked the facility as they made their way back to the ship. Mikhail, covering their retreat, was the last to board, his body showing the cost of his defense. As they broke atmosphere, the moon's facility erupted in a spectacular explosion, visible from space. The Arcturian weapon, their last hope for domination, was no more. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. Humanity had not just survived, they had won. The Arcturian Empire, now leaderless and without their ultimate weapon, began to fracture. In the makeshift headquarters, now a symbol of hope, Lena stood before the gathered survivors.
We did it. We're free, she said, her voice breaking with relief and grief. Mikhail, now the de facto leader, spoke with a solemn pride.
This isn't just an end, it's a beginning. We rebuild, we remember, and we never let anyone call us savages again. The chapter ends with the dawn breaking over Earth, a new day for humanity. The victory was hard-won, laced with loss, but it was complete. The intrigue of Yuri's redemption, the action of the final assault, and the strategic use of betrayal against the enemy weaved together to conclude a saga where humanity proved not just their resilience, but their capacity for unity, cunning, and freedom.